coffee's cold, the steam has turned to ghost. I'm haunted by the ghost of you I love the most. You left a sentence hanging halfway through a breath. Now I'm reading into pauses, bored to death by the echo of the promises you didn't mean to keep, falling through the cracks while the rest of the world is asleep. I'm collecting all the fragments, the always and the nevers, binding them in leather like they could last forever. But the ink is running thin and the pages are all torn, waiting for a sunrise that feels like it's being unborn. Broken words and soft nights, that's all you left behind. A static on the radio, a fever in my mind. You spoke in watercolor, but you washed away in gray. Now I'm drowning in the maybe of everything you didn't say. Soft nights are the hardest when the silence gets too loud. Just another broken word lost inside a cloud. I'm tracing every letter on the screen of my phone, a digital confession that I'm standing here alone. You said you'd be the anchor, you said you'd be the light, but you're just a fading shadow in the middle of the night. The I love you was a whisper that the wind already took. Now I'm just a chapter in a very different book. Soft nights, they wrap around me like a blanket made of ice. Every word you broke is just a debt I paid back twice. I'm tired of the beauty in the way you let me go. I'd rather have the jagged truth than this poetic hollow show. Broken words and soft nights, that's all you left behind. A static on the radio, a fever in my mind. You spoke in watercolor, but you washed away in gray. Now I'm drowning in the maybe of everything you didn't say. Silence are the hardest when the silence gets too loud. Just another broken word lost inside a cloud. Listen to the quiet. Can you hear the pieces fall? Broken words, soft nights, I guess that's all. Yeah, that's all. I stood exactly where you told me to wait, at the edge of the garden, by the rusted iron gate. You said the world could shatter, the stars could fall out of line, but as long as I stayed right here, you'd always be mine. So I planted my feet while the seasons started to blur, ignoring the whispers of all the things that we were. The frost turned to clover, the clover to dust, and I'm still standing here, nursing a ghost of our trust. I broke where you promised I'd always be safe. I fell in the middle of our holiest space. You built me a fortress out of whispers and air, then you left me to guard it when you weren't even there. Every always you gave me is a jagged glass stone, and I broke where you promised I'd never be alone. The map that you drew me is fading and torn, leading me back to the place where this silence was born. I look at my shadow and see where the fractures begin, right where you swore that you'd never let the cold in. It's not just the leaving, it's tearing me right down the seam. It's the way that you let me believe in the dream. I'm a monument now to a pieces of the words that you said. I stayed where you told me. I broke where you promised. I broke where you promised. The storm finally passed, or maybe it just ran dry. I'm staring at the ceiling, asking the shadows why. For an hour I held my breath, I held my ground, living in the ringing of that hollow, empty sound. There were no more dishes breaking, no more I'm leaving, please. Just the static of the radiator and the rustle of the trees. I thought I'd found my strength in the quiet of the room, but it was just the heavy curtain of an approaching doom. And I cried after the silence, when the noise finally died, when there was nowhere left for all this hurt to hide. As long as we were sweet, I could pretend we still can. But the stillness is a witness to the love that isn't there. It's the loudest kind of lonely, the sharpest kind of ache. I cried after the saints for everything we didn't break. I walked into the kitchen looking for a ghost of the morning coffee arguments that I miss the most. Now the air is perfectly still, the dust settled on the shelf, and I'm forced to hear the heartbeat that I'm keeping to myself. They say that silence is a sanctuary, a place where you can heal, but it's just a magnifying glass for everything I feel. The tears didn't come when you slammed the heavy door. They waited for the quiet to settle on the floor. And I cried after the stillness, when the noise finally died, when there to let go, but the silence told me everything I didn't wanna know. The music drops to a whisper. It told me you were gone long before you actually left. Now the quiet is my neighbor. Now the quiet is my friend. I'm just sitting in the echo of a story at its end. I cried after the silence. Watch the seasons change their clothes against the window pane, from the summer's golden promise to the freezing winter rain. The neighbors took their lights down and the leaves turned into dust. I kept polishing a future that was covered up in rust. I knew the train had left the tracks, I knew the fire was out, but I stayed here in the silence just to prove my heart was stout. They told me you weren't coming, that the map had been rewritten, that the space you left behind was just a void where I'd been smitten. But I built a little altar out of things you used to say, and I knelt there in the wreckage of another empty day. I knew the truth was cold, but I kept waiting anyway. I saw the close sign on the door, but I didn't walk away. I was the only one still standing at the station in the dark, trying to find a flicker in a cold and dying spark. Call me a fool or call me brave, for the price I chose to pay. I knew you'd never show, but I kept waiting anyway. The dust is settling on the glass of the wine I poured for two. The calendar is bleeding, and it's all because of you. Every car that turns the corner makes my heartbeat start to climb, just to drop a little further when it passes every time. I'm a ghost inside a hallway fear of moving on, because waiting meant you weren't entirely truly gone. If I stop the watch and listen, I can hear the way it ends. But as long as I am waiting, I don't have to start again. I knew the truth was cold, but I kept waiting anyway. Oh, I saw the close sign on the bar, but I didn't walk away. I was the only one still standing at the station in the dark, trying to find a flicker in a cold and dying spark. Call me a fool, but call me brave, for the price I chose to pay. I knew you'd never show, but I kept waiting anyway. The sun is coming up again, a pale and lonely blue, and I'm finally out of reasons to be looking out for you. I'll leave the porch light burning, just in case I'm wrong, but I'm finally taking off the coat I've worn for far too long. I knew you weren't coming, but I kept waiting anyway. Yeah, I kept waiting anyway. I stayed when the stars started burning out, and the ground turned to glass neath my feet. I silenced the ghosts of every last doubt while you were looking for ways to retreat. I gave you the breath right out of my lungs when the air in the room got too thin. I spoke your name with 1,000 tongues just to let all the light back in. I didn't just walk, I ran to the fire. I didn't just lean, I fell on the blade. I built us a kingdom on hope and desire, while you counted cost of the choices I made. I loved you past reason, I loved you past rhyme. I gave you my forever in a moment of time. I crossed every border, I broke every rule. sun at the end of your day. I made excuses for holes in your stories and wore your mistakes like a crown. I lived for the flashes of half-hearted glories while you were just letting me drown. They say love is blind, but I think it's just brave to stand at the edge of a bottomless cave and whisper I'm here to the cold and the dark, waiting for you to provide just a spark. But the silence is deafening, heavy and blue. There's no logic left in a life built on you. I loved you past reason. I loved you past rhyme. I gave you my forever in a moment of time. I crossed every border. I broke every rule, playing the same while I acted the fool. I reached for your soul through the seasons of frost, never once stopping to weigh what it cost. Beyond every logic, through every black sea, I loved you past reason, but you didn't love me. Past the breaking point, past the end of the line, I was yours entirely, but you were never mine. No, you were never mine. I loved you past reason. I left my pride at the front door, leaning on the wall. I didn't bring a shield, I didn't think I'd have to fall. I walked into your fire with nothing but my skin. Never checked the exits or the mess I'm standing in. I traded every secret for a promise you couldn't keep. Now I'm drowning in the shallow end. I thought it was the deep. I loved you without armor. I loved you soft and bare. I gave you every weapon and I let you leave them there. I didn't wear a helmet, I didn't guard my chest. I gave you all the heartbeat and you took away the rest. Now I'm bleeding through the bandages of everything we were. I loved you without armor, and I'm the one who's hurt. The silence in this hallway is a heavy kind of steel. It's funny how the ghost of you is all that I can feel. I'm shivering in the open where I used to feel so safe, tracing all the battle scars that time cannot erase. You saw the white flag waving, but you didn't stop the war. I've never felt thought the leaving would be the hardest part to bear. The sound of a suitcase, the coldness in the air. But it's the quiet habits that are breaking me today. The little things you did before you walked away. You never just sat down, you'd always linger near, leaning in the doorway just to let me know you're here. I have the memory of your ghost in every room, but the silence is a garden that will never bloom. I don't miss the fire or the lightning in the sky. I don't miss the secrets or the reasons why we cry. I just miss the anchor, the way you held the ground, the way you made a sanctuary out of every sound. And oh, I miss the way you stayed before the colors of our forever started to fade. The way you'd rest your hand upon the small of my back, keeping all the pieces from falling through the crack. It wasn't just a moment, it was how you filled the space with a steady kind of mercy and a slow-moving grace. The world is moving fast now, it's a blur of neon gray, and I just miss the way you stayed. You'd stay in the kitchen until the tea was poured. You'd stay in the conversation when I was feeling bored. You stayed through the winters when my heart was made of ice, never asking questions, never thinking twice. Now the house is a highway, everyone's just passing through, and I'm standing in the hallway looking for a trace of you. The door doesn't click the same way it used to do, back when the threshold was a promise kept by you. They say that people go, it's the nature of the tide, but nobody tells you how to handle the hole inside. I'm surrounded by goodbyes that are dressed up like hello, and I'm clinging to a ghost that I should let go. Yeah, I should let you go. you stayed. You stayed through the rain. You stayed through the light. Now I'm just a shadow in the middle of the night. The chair is still empty. The tea is getting cold, and I'm just missing the hand I used to hold. I miss the way you stayed. The world gets loud to drown the ghost of us. A million city sounds to break the hum. But when the engines fade and turn to dust, that's when the hardest parts of missing come. I used to fear the thunder and the rain, the way the wind would rattle at the glass. But now it's just the quiet that brings pain. Watching all these empty minutes pass. The clock on the wall is a heavy hand, beating out a rhythm I don't understand. I'm anchored to the carpet, pinned to the floor by the weight of the shadow that's not at the door. I miss you in the stillness. I miss you in the pause, when there isn't any music to cover up the flaws. In the gap between my heartbeats, in the breath I haven't drawn, in the silver blue reflection of a solitary dawn. It's the silence that's the loudest. It's the quiet that is cruel. In the stillness of the morning, I'm still playing the fool. I've memorized the dust motes in the light, the way they dance in air you used to breathe. I'm a witness to the dying of the night, waiting for a peace that won't arrive or leave. They say that moving on is just a step, that every footfall echoes in the hall. I'm keeping all the promises I kept, but there's no one left to hear them after all. I try to stir the water, try to make a sound, to keep the ghosts of almost from gathering around. But the surface just resets into a mirror made of glass, reflecting every second that I'm forced to let pass. I miss you in the stillness. I miss you in the pause, when there isn't any music to cover up the flaws. In the gap between my heartbeats, in the breath I haven't drawn, in the silver blue reflection of a solitary dawn. silence while I'm pouring out the tea, forgetting there's no shadow standing there beside me. I ask you if you've seen my keys, or if the mail has come. Then the kitchen hits me squarely with a silence that is numb. I describe the way the morning light is leaning on the floor, like I'm waiting for your footsteps to come walking through the door. It's a habit I can't break, a ghost I can't evict, living in a logic that the lonely have picked. The walls don't have the answers, the ceiling doesn't care, but I keep tossing all my secrets into thin and vacant air. I'm a radio that's broadcast to a station that went dead, trying to find a place to put the things I never said. And I talk to empty rooms like you're still listening, like the air is still heavy with the golden glistening love we used to carry before it fell apart, before the quiet became the rhythm of my heart. I'm whispering to shadows, I'm arguing with ghosts, proposing silent toasts to the things I miss the most. They say I'm losing focus, they say I'm out of tune, but I'm just trying to keep your memory in this empty room. I tell the hallway how my day was, and I laugh at my own jokes, while the fireplace is dying in a huddle of old smoke. I ask the dusty mirror if my hair is getting gray, waiting for a compliment that's miles and miles away. Every corner is a witness to a story that we told. Now I'm just a narrator whose hands are getting cold. I'm filling up the hollows with the sound of my own name, but the echoes only remind me that it isn't quite the same. Is it madness, or is it mercy, to keep the conversation going when there's no one left to hurt me? I'd rather speak to nothing than to admit that you are gone. So I keep the dialogue moving from the dusk until the dawn. And I talk to empty rooms like you're still listening, like the air is still heavy with the golden glistening love we used to carry before it fell apart, before the quiet became the rhythm of my heart. I whisper into shadows, I'm arguing with ghosts, proposing silent toasts to the things I miss the most. They say I'm losing focus, they say I'm out of tune, but I'm just trying to keep your memory in this empty room. Did you hear that? I asked the dark, but there isn't any flame and there isn't any spark. Just me and the four walls and a voice that's growing thin. I'm home, I say to no one, and the silence lets me in. stood on my tiptoes to reach for your sky. I painted my colors to please your cold eye. I smoothed out my edges and quieted my soul, hoping the parts of me made you feel whole. I traded my laughter for a soft hollow hum, but the more that I gave you, the less I become. I was a house made of cards in your summer wind, waiting for you to just let me back in. I bent till I broke, I shrank till I was small. I gave you my everything and you still wanted it all. Oh, I tried to be enough, I tried to be the one to keep you from freezing when the day was all done. I built you a garden on a desert of stone, but I'm still standing here and I'm still all alone. How much of myself do I have left to lose when enough is a mountain I can't help but choose? I'm exhausted and empty and the truth is just rough. God, I'm dying inside because I tried to be enough. I read every silence, I mapped every mood. I fed you my light like it was some kind of food, but your hunger is endless, a well with no floor. And every I love you just ask me for more. I look in the mirror and I don't know this face. It's a shadow of someone you tried to erase. I was your anchor while you were the sea, but you never once tried to be enough for me. Is it a failure if I finally stop, if I let the heavy glass ornaments drop? I'm tired of performing, I'm tired of the just not for you. Keep my head up when the coffee's brewing hot. Smile at strangers in the parking lot. I answer every text, I keep my schedule tight. I've mastered the art of hiding you from sight. The world sees a person who's finally moved on, steady and certain. Now that you're gone, I wear my composure like a heavy winter coat, keeping the I miss you trapped inside my throat. But the sun is a liar, just a temporary shield from the hollowed out ache that I refuse to yield. Oh, I'm strong until nightfall. I'm brave in the light. I can outrun your ghost when the world is still bright. But as soon as the shadows stretch over the floor, I can't keep the gravity away from my door. When the silence is heavy and the moon starts to climb, I lose every battle I've won against time. Yeah, I'm strong until nightfall. Then I'm just waiting for you. The keys on the counter, the shoes by the wall. In the glare of the day, they don't matter at all. But when I turn out the lamps and the darkness is deep, the secrets unburied and start to lose sleep. I'm a tower of stone while the clock's ticking loud, but I crumble to dust when there's no one around. Daylight is a costume, a role that I play to convince all my friends that I'm truly okay. But the stars are like needles, they're stitching the pain back into my chest like a slow burning stain. I'm a hero at noon, I'm a king in the sun, but at midnight I'm undone. I'm strong until nightfall. I'm brave in the light. I can outrun your ghost when the world is still bright. But as soon as the shadows stretch over the floor, I can't keep the gravity away from my door. When the silence is heavy and the moon starts to climb, I lose every battle I've won against time. Yeah, I'm strong until nightfall. Then I'm just waiting for you. Just waiting for you. In the blue of the bedroom where the air is too thin, I'm losing the fight that I promised I'd win. Yeah, I'm strong until nightfall. But the sun's going down and I'm missing you now. We built a house out of whispers and heat. Two tired hearts finding rhythm and beat. We survived the winters, the dead and the rain, the miles of silence, the weight of the pain. We held on so tight through the wreckage and dust, polishing silver to cover the rust. But when the smoke cleared and the sky turned to blue, I looked at the mirror and I looked to you. We made it through the fire, we made it to the shore, but we aren't the people we were anymore. We're still standing here, two souls in the light, but something got lost in the middle of the night. Survived the ending, but the love didn't survive us. There's no one to blame, there's no villain to find, just two different tracks that the years unaligned. We carried the burden until we were born. Now we're sitting together but feeling alone. You can't restart a heart once the pulse has gone thin. No matter how many times we try to begin, we saved the foundation, we saved every wall, but the ghost in the hallway has no one to call. It's the strangest kind of morning to look in your eyes and see a familiar but vacant sunrise. We kept each other whole while the world fell apart, but we forgot to check on the state of the heart. Yeah, we forgot the heart. The love didn't survive us. It didn't survive. The rescue came too late. We're standing on the pier, but we missed the gate. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad we're both free. the love stayed behind, with the ghost of you and me. You didn't come at me with a sharpened blade or a sudden storm in the plans we made. There was no lightning, no crash of the glass, just the slow, soft rhythm of the hours as they pass. You didn't tear the roots right out of the ground. You just stopped the water without making a sound. It's a quiet erosion, a slow motion fall, the kind of goodbye that doesn't feel like one at all. Gently, like a velvet bruise, a beautiful poison I didn't want to refuse. It wasn't a fire that burned down the town, it was a soft rain that slowly pulled me down. No scars on the surface for the world to see, but love hurt me gently, and it's killing me. Your voice was a whisper, your touch was a feather. Even when you were unbinding our forever, you smiled as you told me we drifted apart, put in a silk-covered pillow over my heart. If you'd only been cruel, if you'd only been cold, I'd have a reason to break from your hold. But you're killing me softly with a hand on my cheek, leaving me shattered and making me weak. Oh, love hurt me gently, like a velvet bruise, a beautiful poison I didn't want to refuse. It wasn't a fire that burned down the town, it was a soft rain that gentlest way to lose it all. Love, hurt me gently, so gently. Tracing the outlines of where you used to lay. The ghost of your shadow hasn't faded to gray. There's a cup on the counter, a book on the floor, but no one is turning the lock on the door. I keep waiting for thunder, for a storm to arrive, for a shadow, a reason to feel like I'm alive. But the clock just keeps ticking, steady and slow, measuring the minutes since you let me go. And it's the quiet that's breaking my bones, the weight of the silence in this house of stones. No slamming of doors, no bitter goodbye, just a shift in the air and a pale morning sky. I'm screaming your name, but it makes not a town, because love left without a sound. Your keys on the table, your scent on my shirt. It's the lack of a sorry that does all the hurt. We ran out of fuel, we ran out of light, but you didn't go down with a desperate fight. You just slipped through the cracks of a midwinter day, like a leaf on a river. You drifted away. Now I'm left with the echo of things we didn't say, watching the memories turn into gray. And it's the quiet that's breaking my bones, the weight of the silence in this house of stones. No slamming of doors, no bitter goodbye, just a shift in the air and a pale morning sky. I'm screaming your name, but it makes not a town, because love left without a sound. You say that the heart makes a noise when it breaks, a snap or a shatter for all that it takes. But mine stayed as still as a frozen over lake, just waiting for one last ripple. Without a plea, you took all the noise. When you took you from me, love left without a sound. The tea has gone cold on the nightstand, and the silence is louder than words. I'm reaching across to the left side, to a ghost that no longer is heard. We used to be tangled in moonlight, tracing lines on each other's palms. Now I'm just tracing the shadows of a love that didn't stay calm. The clock on the wall keeps on ticking, but the time feels like it's standing still. I told my heart it would stop aching, but I don't think it ever will. Oh, why does midnight feel colder without you? The stars are just holes in the sky. I'm shivering under the weight of the memories of every forever that turned to goodbye. The wind at the window is calling your name, and I'm just a spark that went out in the rain. Everything's frozen, nothing is real. God, midnight is heavy. That's just how it feels when you're alone. I walked past the cafe this morning where we shared that first plastic cup. I saw a reflection of someone who's still waiting for you to show up. The city is glowing in neon, but I'm living in shades of deep blue. How do I learn to be me again when all that I knew was just us? Oh, why does midnight feel colder without you? You're back in the doorway, you're back in my arms, but I'm waking up to a false alarm. Midnight feels colder, the sheets feel like ice. I'd play any fortune, I'd pay any price to hear your heart beating next to my own. But it's 12:05 and I'm still, yeah, I'm still. Midnight feels colder. The sun goes down like a heavy hand, pushing me back to this hollow land. I close my eyes, but the ceiling glows with the reruns of the life you chose. I check the locks and I dim the lights, trying to prepare for the ghost of these nights when every shadow looks a bit like you, and the walls start bleeding a darker shade of blue. These are the nights I can't escape, where memory takes a jagged shape. I'm running down hallways inside my head, tripping on the words that we never said. The clock is a hammer, the silence is a cage. I'm trapped on a hollow, ink-stained page. I can flee the city, I can fly across the sea, but these are the nights that always find me. The 2 a.m. static is a familiar friend, telling me stories where we don't have to end. I smell your perfume on a cold gust of air. I reach for the pillow, but no one is there. It's a specific kind of fever, a cold-blooded ache that waits for the moment I'm too tired to wake. I try to outrun the way that it feels, but the dark has a way of snapping at my heels. These are the nights I can't escape, but memory takes a jagged shape. I'm running down hallways inside my head, tripping on the words that we never said. The clock is a hammer, silence is a cage. I'm trapped on a hollow, ink-stained page. I can flee edge of the gate. The sun's coming up, but I'm still in the gray, waiting for the night to finally go away. The nights I can't escape. No, I can't escape. I don't have to check the people when the floorboards start to creak. I don't have to wonder who it is that's kissing on my cheek. It's a cold, familiar shadow. It's a weight upon the bed. It's the only voice that's left to talk to the voices in my head. I try to hide in crowded rooms. I try to change my stride, but it finds me in the neon light with nowhere left to hide. It doesn't need a map, it doesn't need a key. It's the only thing in this whole world that stayed in love with me. Sadness knows my name. It whispers it so sweet. It follows every footstep down every lonely street. It sits across the table. It pours a glass of wine. It says, don't worry, darling, you're still a friend of mine. All it gets inside a body. I'm a moth inside a flame, and I never feel alone, because sadness knows my name. It knows the way I take my tea. It knows the way I ache. It knows exactly how much more my weary heart can take. It seen the way you left me. It watched the curtains close. It's the only one who stayed to see the dying of the rose. Sometimes I think it's kinder than the people who have fled. At least it keeps its promises and tucks me into bed. I tried to introduce it to a little bit of light, but the light just made the shadow look more beautiful and bright. It's etched into my skin. It's written in my blood. A slow and 'cause sadness knows my name. Hello again, it says at 3 a.m. My oldest friend, my only them. No need for introductions, no need to explain. It's the rhythm in the window, it's the pulse inside the pain. Yeah, sadness knows my name. It always knows my name. The table set for two again, a habit I can break. I'm pouring out the coffee just to watch the steam escape. I start to say your name out loud, then catch it on my tongue. A bitter taste of everything we left while we were young. The neighbors think I'm doing fine, I've mastered every smile. But there's a flood behind my teeth that's rising all the while. My throat is tight, my chest is burning slow. There's an ocean in my eyes that I can't let go. These are the tears I learned to swallow. Salt water heavy in my soul, building a dam against the hollow, trying to keep my heart whole, but they're drowning me from the inside out, silencing every scream and shout. I'm a desert garden, dry and hollow, choking on the tears I learned to swallow. I saw your coat in the hallway, I should have moved it by now. I promised I'd be stronger, but I don't remember how. I take a breath and push it down, that familiar stinging ache. If I let just one drop fall, I'm scared the floor will break. So I keep my head up level and I keep my vision clear, while I'm suffocating on the grief I won't let reappear. Is it brave to keep it in, or is it just a lie? A slow motion suicide because I'm too afraid to cry. I'm full of all the words I saved and the water I withheld. A glass house full of storms that I never should have quelled. These are the tears I learned to swallow, salt water heavy in my soul, building a dam against the hollow, trying to keep my heart whole, but they're drowning me from the inside out, silencing every scream and shout. I'm a desert garden, dry and hollow, choking on the tears I learned to swallow. I'm drinking back the ocean, I'm hiding every motion, one just swallow. I'll just swallow them down. Still dry. Still drowning. I started a letter on the back of a bill, but the pen hit the paper and the world went still. I got as far as I hope that you're fine. Then the ink started bleeding like a borderline. I bought a new frame for that shot by the lake, but it's sitting in bubble wrap, a heavy mistake. I can't hang the memories, I can't let them breathe, not while I'm still learning how to let you leave. But the coffee is half cold, the book's on page 10. I try to move forward, then I'm back there again. It's a race with no finish, a song with no key, just a version of us that's still haunting me. And oh, it's the things that I just can't finish, the love that the distance won't ever diminish. I'm stuck in the middle of a bridge that we burned, staring at lessons that I never learned. The goodbye is jagged, the forever is torn. I'm wearing a sweater that's weathered and worn. Every path that I take leads back to your door. I'm a half-written story that can't find the floor. Yeah, I can't finish loving you anymore. I went to the theater to see that new show, but I left at the interval. I had to go because the seat to my right was a hollowed out space, and the air felt like iron without your grace. I'm building a life out of fragments and dust, trying to polish the iron and rust. But the kitchen is quiet, the chores are all half done. I'm a soulless system that's missing its sun. They say time is a healer, but time is a thief who leaves you the dead and the weight of the grief. I'm holding the needle can't finish. The sentence ends here with the salt of a secret and the ghost of a fear. The porch light is flickering, the night's moving on, but I'm still right here, waiting for the rest of the song. Kept our best days in a velvet box, like gold I was too afraid to spend. I put my faith in bolts and heavy locks. Sure, I could keep the winner from the end. I was a miser with the thinking they'd be worth more down the line. Now I'm standing here with nothing left to lose, and a wealth of words that I can't make alive. I thought the reservoir would never run dry. I'm spending it all.